You're listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. Powered by Bathtub Guys Refinishing. We discuss the refinishing industry, interview owners and operators, and give tips to business owners and entrepreneurs. Now, here's your host, Daniel Montalvo.
We are back, everybody. We were talking about a customer that you had that gave you a call back because of some scratches on the tub. So go ahead and finish the story there, and then I'll touch in with what happened to me recently, too.
And I'm not sure how to resolve this. So I was talking to my wife last night. We're staying over in Daytona Beach.
Okay.
And so if I see that, a lady has dogs, like a boomer aged person with dogs, they love it. They sleep with them. And
yeah.
Give them baths. And, I find it kind of weird, but I'm not a dog person. So we sprayed this tub. This was just Tuesday this week.
Okay.
She emails me and she said, I haven't used the tub, but there's these scratches in it. And I said, well, send me a picture. And I'm in my hotel room last night with my laptop, right? And the tub's wet. And she said she never used it, right? But the tub's wet. And I said, do you have a dog? As the first question I asked her. And she said, yes, but he hates baths. And then I replied back, I said, why is the tub wet if you never used it? And she said, well, I was just cleaning it up because of the chemicals. And I know her dog did this. She washed the dog in it.
She's like, I haven't used it yet, but my dog did.
So if I'm spraying it, even though I put this in the care instructions.
The care instructions.
The Karen instructions, which... Unfortunately, my mom's name is Karen.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, Mom.
She lives up to that name.
Oh, shit.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just calling a spade, man.
Yeah, the shoe fits.
Not trying to throw hate. So I know she's lying to me, but the subcontractor, does she go back out and do that for free? Because I'm like, it's obvious damage. I know she's lying to me. It's in the care instructions. If I was physically doing the job myself and I see little kids or I see dogs, I'm like, don't wash your dogs in there. Don't use suction cup mats. Don't let your kids play in there with like Matchbox cars because it will chip. Mm-hmm. But I don't think she's not trained yet to articulate that to the customer.
I think so. You have to have a real conversation with your sub first and let them know, like, look, when you sub with me, it's in my contract for my subcontractors, by the way. You have to uphold our warranty, for one. So if it's something that I would go fix, you have to fix it. That's why you're getting paid percentage. That's it.
Fat percentage.
Exactly.
A 50% cut is not a 50% cut.
Listen.
Cost to acquire the customer.
The liability cannot be all yours. That's why you're paying a subcontractor.
Maybe that will teach her to have these conversations.
Exactly. Thank you. You're thinking the right way. It's exactly.
If you're just running around like a donkey and you're not having a conversation with realistic expectation, you can't put.
If she knows she's gonna have to go back, if the customer fucks something up and it wasn't communicated to the customer, it's still as much. Remember, we got to think. We're not just tub refinishers. We need to think customer service. If it wasn't communicated, even it might be on a piece of paper, but if it wasn't verbally communicated, it is still your guys' fault to an extent. Customers, we cannot expect. How you have Facebook, right?
Only Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, you have Instagram. When you sign up for an account, do you sit there and read all the fucking fine print terms of service and shit?
No.
Yeah. You know who else knows that doesn't happen? The law. That's why all the time they have all these guys from social media like talking in front of Congress because everybody knows that like nobody reads that shit. It's there to cover your ass in case someone tries to sue you or something like that. And it's someone who's really giving you a hard time. But if something like that happens where it wasn't communicated verbally, it's not going to kill you or destroy you. They're not threatening to sue you or murder your family. Like, then you go and fix it. But next time you tell the sub, like, look, you have to uphold our warranty. And if you don't communicate these things, then, it's going to be a problem. Also, like, you're in the customer service game. And like I said, it cannot fall all back on you. You're already putting up with the majority of the risk because you're the business owner. They're getting paid 50%. No one gets paid 50%. Are you supplying material?
I'm not supplying material with the exception of multi-spec. And I had to do that because with the cold weather, if it freezes, it's done.
At the end of the day, you got to tell them, when I sub you the work, they are now your customer. Or, better yet, I'm the customer, because that's really what it is. I'm paying you. You're providing a service.
If she doesn't want it,
rework the deal. These things have to work out a certain way. Either it's going to be like you go and fix it if the customer bitches about it, or I pay you 35% and I'll pay you $150 when you have to go fix it. Something like that. Regardless, you can't take all the risks, man.
You can leverage the situation too, because sometimes I find that it weighs more on your conscience to debate whether or not you're going to handle it than it does to just make the decision to go re-top coat that tub.
Yeah.
And it's just a pre-val.
Yeah, there you go. So then
it's not a big deal, but I'm on the north side, she's on the south side, so it's 30 minutes for her.
I just want you to communicate it just so they have it in their head. And then as far as the customer thing goes, man, I had the same exact thing happen. Like 2 weeks ago, I was on vacation. Mm-hmm. And the customer emailed us saying like, hey, this tub is scratched or whatever. I'm not sure how it came on. And I was like, well, did the tub scratch itself? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, if you don't know, how am I supposed to know? Am I to assume that that we are now liable because scratches appeared on the bathtub? Like I literally she's like, well, I didn't mean it like that. It's just that, you guys did the tub and now it's scratched and I just want to come to a solution. I'm like, does this solution involve me doing work for free? And then she was like, well, I don't really know what happened, whatever. I'm like, look, I'm going to fix it because I provide amazing customer service. But next time something like this happens, you're on your own. You're going to pay a warranty call, like a service call fee. And I told her, look, you can go and park your brand new Lamborghini, $200,000 car at a Walmart parking lot, and it might get scratched. Are you going to call Lamborghini and tell them that they need to give you a new one or fix it for free because someone scratched it?
They're going to tell you to pound sand.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, and it's the same whether it's a Lamborghini, whether it's a fucking Camry, whether any fucking car in the world. That's not how these things work. Wear and tear is not the fault of the installer. That's not how that happens. So I told her, like, so that I'm going to fix it for free, but your warranty is not an insurance policy. Okay? We warranty the workmanship, that it's not going to peel off, whatever. But physical abrasion is not something that's covered under any warranty ever. And then we went back and fixed it, and she was happy with it. I told her to write me a review because I did it for free. But you just got to let them know. And next time it happens, it won't be a surprise. Also, get it all in writing. Customer communication to warranty claims, you pick up the phone, you talk on the phone, but you also follow up in writing. It doesn't matter if you already resolved it on the phone. Like, hey, I'm going to shoot you an email with that information, so I just have it on record. And you tell them, hey, we talked about this. We said we're going to fix it as a one-time courtesy because of this, and this. Let me know if that's good for you. They say, okay, there you go. That's them saying, okay, good. That way, next time something happens, when the dog does it next year, they're not calling you back like, wait, what happened? It's like, I didn't scratch it. Something in your house is scratching the tub. It ain't me.
All right, I've also received calls, and I can figure out when they're lying a lot of times. They'll the argument gets more extreme, so they'll be like, yeah, this is our guest bedroom. We've only used it like 4 or 5 times, and it just popped off. Yeah. Coating. Well, they dropped a heavy razor in there or something, right? It just doesn't pop off.
Yeah. And well, what are you using for products?
So I was trained with Midwest, and the guy that trained me, just because he has 20 years experience, doesn't mean he's been improving over those 20 years.
He's just been doing a thing for 20 years.
Yeah, right? So, like, you got to have, I'll answer this in a roundabout way, like, you got to be open to getting new information, right? So I started listening to your podcast. I'm getting nuggets from that, so you can't have an ego and say, okay, I got this degree, I'm 40 years old, this kid doesn't know shit. No, you know significantly more than I do as far as the industry, because you guys have been in it, right? So, and
there's things that so like that entire thing you were talking about, we were talking about it when you went to the back, like, you know a lot of these things from the number side, like how like corporate businesses work, how buying franchise. Those are things we are completely in the dark about. And so like that's part of the reason I do this thing. It's like I'm trying to learn from other people
As much as you can.
because it's a much more and for people to learn, because a lot of people are stuck and stagnant. You know what I mean? I want to give you information, you get value from it. You give me information, I get value from it, and we build a really cool network of people who are ready to that I could trust, and we can talk about these things openly. You know?
Yeah, like most of the owner operators want to be real secretive, and I'm completely open about everything, good, bad, ugly, what I've had success with. I started out with Midwest.
Okay.
I saw that Top Coat was low VOC and had a training school,
Yep.
and I was like, bang, I can write that off as that vacation off and head down to Charleston. Mm-hmm. So that was super cool. So
You met George
George, I can't say his last name.
Picot?
Picot.
Yeah.
I always mispronounce French. George Picot. And I looked into that system, and it was just like, I like it better.
It's too expensive, you think?
For me personally, I can spray it better and get a repeatable result. So I switched over to Top Coat and also the 3M PPS 3 systems. And that's expensive.
So is that what you're using right now?
Yeah.
Top coat? Okay, cool. So all right, I was just making sure. So you're using Crosslink and all of that.
I'm using Crosslink.
Crosslink's the shit, man. That's amazing.
It's the shit. If it needs it, I'll use their primer, but you don't have to use the primer.
It's usually when the tiles, or a color change, sometimes. But for regular tubs, most of the time the Crosslink is it. I have a tech that sprays the Crosslink on, and then he'll switch to the resin primer. He likes to do it all. I'm not going to tell him no. That's how he wants to do it. It's cool. It's a little bit extra product, but it's for him, it's peace of mind.
Yeah. Efficient.
So
I don't mind spending more on the product. I mean, the PPS 3 is expensive, but if you want to think about repeatable processes, right? Like, if you go back to, like, Amazon, like, he started at McDonald's. It's all repeatable processes. With the 3M, you can measure 4 to 1 to 2.5, right now in the winter. And then in the summer, it's 4 to 1 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I can do repeatable. Originally, when I started, I was taking, like, the wax line Dixie cups. And that's about...
Dude, that's the way I was taught.
that's
That's
how
about
we do
7
it.
ounces. That's about 7 ounces.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
With the Midwest, and then that's about 3 ounces of acetone, and then we put in 1.5 ounces of xylene, and you're gonna send a technician out in the field with a fucking Dixie cup, that's not repeatable.
No.
That's bad.
You're right about that.
It's
That's
really
something that we need to get a little bit better on. And I'm glad you
Our
brought that up.
SOPs.
Yeah, we just need to have systems in place to make
We
sure.
have them. We
But-
just haven't really outlined them in detail.
We need to polish them up
particularly.
and have like a little handy thing that like a new
100%,
tech could
yeah.
take with
That's the next phase for my business, because now I'm actually hiring. I just talked to Daniel. We're hiring another guy who has experience in the industry, but lacks all of what we just talked about. Any standard operating procedure at all. It's like when he doesn't really understand what to do or how to fix certain issues or how to not have them in general, because you're having repeatable processes. And we were just talking about today, like, we have to tighten that up with him. And it's because he learned from the same people that taught me, where we're using Dixie cups and fucking 1-to-1 Dixie cups. And I'm like,
That's about right.
yeah, and then like a little catalyst. I'm like, and I remember when I was being taught, I was like, I feel like we're gonna fuck this up.
you know what I
I feel like we're gonna fuck this up.
what I can't handle and what I don't tolerate. Look, the Dixie cups, they're at least with Midwest, it's 1-to-1. Okay,
Yeah, that's simple. Yeah.
And if it's a cup is 9 ounces, the other one's 9 ounces. What I cannot tolerate is people who pour directly into the cup, like who skip measuring as a whole.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's how I was taught.
It'll work until it doesn't work.
exactly. And then what? Now you have a
Oh.
tacky ass finish that's a mess.
We walked into a bathroom once.
Orange peel.
Yeah, we walked into a bathroom once, like maybe a year and a half ago, where the person didn't catalyze the material properly, and the tub was wet for 2 weeks. We went over there. We tried to strip it. Bro, we tried lacquer and xylene, and it was just making, because they put 4 coats on it.
Jesus.
And it was just, we were just spreading the material. We told them, like, look, you know what? They don't even pay us. The guy was cool and gave us like a $300 tip for trying. And he was like, I'm just going to sue them. I was like, okay. He was like a rich guy, though. It was a fat bathroom. I was like, I cannot handle. Like, it was crazy. So,
like, I don't need that in my life. That's how I started it, and I didn't understand, nobody spoke with me about, the xylene or acetone changes. Mm-hmm. If it's real cold, you need to warm up the chemicals. I'd be in a house and spraying a tub and getting orange peel, and the guy was like, no, you got to come back, sand that shit down, respray it, and of course it's up 3 stories,
I think also one of the biggest,
snowed on.
one of the things about materials that not a lot of people talk about, I don't like, not that I don't like it, I don't usually talk about the technical side that much, because I always come at this from an angle of like, the business building, the entrepreneurship, that stuff is more interesting to me. But I will say that even the guys who are providing these products need to do better about training people on how to use their products, on how to troubleshoot. Like, it is hard to get an answer from Midwest about stuff sometimes. Like, 3 different people will give you 3 different answers, and that is very, very annoying to me.
Who's the owner's kid there?
Eddie.
It seems like he's good. He picks up the phone, but when I call him for help, he'd be like, "Oh, you do it your way," and I'd be like, "No, I've been doing this 2 months. I have no idea what I'm doing."
You know who actually has really good customer service is fucking George, bro. He will sit down and try to figure it out with you, and I respect that. A lot of these other guys, I love Midwest. I love their products. I like that they are always innovating and trying new things, but in that way, the customer service, I could see why people in those Facebook groups sometimes they'll say that they're lacking on that front, and it's the troubleshooting. Like, they'll tell you, "Oh, we have a whole guide of like troubleshooting on the website." You do, but it's like,
that's correct. Yeah.
What if you did everything right and then it didn't come out the right way? Like what if none of those things apply? It feels like they're trying to get you off the phone.
Yeah, he's stressed. When I've called him, I'm in the field, right, getting snowed on or whatever, rained on, and there's, X, Y, or Z. I'm having some type of problem. It seemed like he'd be really stressed and needs to get off the phone. So that, with George, I feel like when I call him, he kind of...
He leans into the situation.
He leans in. Yeah. He doesn't sound real panicked.
Yeah.
Because if you're stressing out, especially when you're first starting out, you're really stressed, especially when things aren't going right.
I've been there.
You don't need the guy on the other side of the phone to be stressed out too.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the expert.
They're supposed to calm you down.
Every conversation I've had with George, which I believe it's like maybe 2 or 3 times, he's always just cool, collected. He asks really good questions. Like, I'll tell him this, this is what I'm having trouble with, and he's like, "Well, what have you done? Have you done this, this, and this?" Like, I respect that about him, and I really appreciate that. Like, he is very good about that sort of thing. Because even though I use Midwest, if I did not live in Florida, where they're like 30 minutes from me, I don't know if I would use them. Part of the reason is that stuff is very, very valuable when you have a lot of different guys, like having real support. And I'm not saying the Midwest doesn't have it. Like, for me, if it's not Ed or Eddie, so like Big Ed, the dad, or Young Eddie, all the other people there are not that helpful. I'm just being real.
Wow.
And usually you're hard pressed to get them. So I would usually be like, "Hey, can you I'll send an email with a question and have them forward it directly to Ed so I can get a good answer." Because if I'm just talking to one of the random people in the back, dude, it just feels like they want to get you off the phone.
Yeah. I never asked them for advice. I just figured that shit out myself. Yeah. I fucking will call other refinishers before I call a manufacturer, because it's just like, exactly, they're here to sell product. They don't really give a shit about. I mean, I've never purchased from Top Coat, so I'm not sure, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Their customer service is great.
Yeah, about Top Coat, but my experience with Midwest is very cut and dry. Put my order in, get the hell out of here.
Do you know what got me to Top Coat? Besides the training class, is I started looking at who has repeatable systems. Well, Miracle Method, a lot of people bash them, and there's many good locations. Surely there's some bad locations, but they use Top Coat chemicals. So I'm like, there's probably a reason for that. If they're the largest franchise in the United States doing this.
It's like anything we do, right? Like Top Coat is well branded.
Well,
And it builds trust.
So George told me that, I don't know, told me that Miracle Method doesn't use Top Coat.
Really?
Yeah. He told me that they have a proprietary system. After one of the last podcasts I did, he reached out to me and told me everybody thinks that it's Top Coat and that he doesn't know if specific franchises might. But he says that as a whole, they're not ordering they're not. It's not the Crosslink 3, and it's not their Top Coat.
I literally stopped going. I was in my neighborhood, and there was a Miracle Method van there, and I stopped and I gave my card to the guy, and I said, let me know if you looking for work. And I looked at the containers,
and it was
the
Top
van.
Coat.
It had the same design. Because you can, when you look down on the Crosslink, it had.
I see what you're saying.
So I knew you had Crosslink in there. I didn't even open the box.
What if they're just ordering directly from Sumter?
Yeah, they could just be rebranding the container.
Yeah.
All these products come raw.
Because Sumter Coatings is the big company. Top Coat's the one that sells specific to tubs. So it might be that. Also, there's one that uses similar products. I believe it's Hawks.
Hawks up in Chicago.
They use the same kind of containers, so it could be that. But he told me that from his knowledge. So that was the last time I talked to him. But regardless, repeatable systems, it's very important. Hawks also has really good customer service, from what I hear. They give their fucking guys a booklet. You know who used to do that? Midwest used to do that. You have it.
Yeah, I still have. And I've never had bad customer service from Midwest.
No,
I've
me
also
neither.
never really pushed like I told you, I've never called them for problem resolution.
It's not bad customer service. It's the lack of customer service sometimes. That's what
it's not exceptional.
And it's I get it. They're busy, and that place is always packed. And
they're processing a shit ton of orders.
Yeah, everybody's always there 100%. And I love the people at Midwest. The office ladies are great. Everyone there is fantastic. I feel the problem is that it's more transactional. It's I'm here to pick up my shit and I leave. Yeah, obviously,
definitely.
If you have a very, very technical question, you have to have the right person on the phone. Mm-hmm. But I feel that's kind of the thing where when you buy from Top Coat, they're hey, if you have an issue, call fucking George. You know who to call. You have his direct number. Where it's Midwest, it's unless you know who to talk to, you might get bad advice.
I've caught Ed there one time. I was able to talk to him in person, and he's real helpful in person.
He's really helpful, yeah. And his son is too. They're good guys. But that was kind of my point with that. It's not that it's bad. It's just that sometimes.
But I think it's a lot of what we do, right? So people look at Bathtub Guys in particular now with the podcast. You've built a substantial brand and business, and I feel Top Coat does a really good job at brand establishment and letting everyone know that we're here. We're going to lead the industry, and that's why you trust in those companies, is because all these products are relatively the same, bro.
Yeah.
You may have a little differentiating factors on solids or, adhesion promoters or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you look at the distribution chain, you have a raw manufacturer who gives you raw product. You purchase that shit, you brand it, and then it depends on how you back it as a company, right?
Yeah, it's like you said. It literally actually is like anything, because we brand, and we don't just say we're the best ones, right? Everybody says that. The fucking crackhead doing the tubs for $250 is saying that I'm the best, right?
I call them bottom feeders. They have a Facebook page. They don't have, they're certainly not doing podcasts, and they don't have a website.
And what differentiates you? What garners that trust? It's being active, being part of the community. It's instilling that trust in people. And Top Coat does it well.
Well, we do it with Bathtub Guys. So, obviously, me and Danny are partners. We have a Bathtub Guys division in Tampa now. And a part of the Bathtub Guys franchise is we offer lifetime warranty. Mm-hmm. And so when I've had customers ask me why we offer a lifetime and no one else does. And I pretty much tell them, the craftsmanship is the same. If you're following standard operating procedures on application, then what we do is we immediately absorb. We do charge the most. Mm-hmm. With Bathtub Guys Refinishing, we charge the most in the area. And I tell them, we are following the same standard operating procedures for application. We are just incorporating that lifetime warranty cost from the jump but our brand is here to stay. And that's what they're buying the trust in. Is like, it's not that it will never fail. We're just saying if it fails, we're going to come back and take care of it. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with like Top Coat and Midwest, is that Top Coat's presence is so much more predominant, and they built trust.
Yeah, and part of the reason for the lifetime warranty, what kind of warranty do you offer? 5?
I do 2 years on residential and 1 year.
And then we have a logic on why we do lifetime as well. Obviously,
this is the reason we do the lifetime warranty. In Florida, especially, people move like every 4 years, bro. It doesn't become my problem all the time, and if it does, like this is what I always tell people: if you really call me back in 26 years, I'll fix it, bro. Like how many people are gonna remember who they used in 20 years? How many people are going to live in the same place in 20 years? How many people are going to live through those 26 years? You know what's funny about it? And I haven't said this one publicly, but I'm going to say it now. The type of people who worry about how long things are going to last are usually older people, because they're going to sit in that house for 20 fucking years, and they might not be around in 20 years. So does it fucking matter if you offer the lifetime warranty or not? Like, really think about it. He's been doing the lifetime warranty thing for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Do you get significantly more warranty calls?
I don't get a lot of warranty calls.
Does it matter?
I had a different experience with it.
I get them, but I don't feel like it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting.
It's something that I've considered as a cost of doing business. Yeah. So we're like, for every 20 tubs, we may have to go back. And so it's like our margins are now higher from the value we offer to the customer with the lifetime warranty, because we are charging more for sure. So like our margins have increased. So then if I have to go back for one tub out of every 20, we're still winning. Yeah.
So what was your experience? Go ahead with that. I'm curious, because I mean, there are different markets, there are different people, types of people.
So the latest thing that I read, people used to move on average every 7 years, but with inflation and the market rate, it's now dancing around 13 years till they move. Okay. And so when I bought the business, I didn't know the previous owner was running around offering lifetime warranties. And
oh yeah, that fucking sucks. Because it's different. Yeah,
it was in the fine print,
and
right?
you're not controlling the quality too. Those are jobs that were before you, so
right. So, and I was set up. I this may seem stupid to you guys. I know better now. You know, just a primer gun, top coat gun, no backup turbine. And I'm reading the financials on it, and it says all that shit's new. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a badass Titan. You know, 6-stage, 5-stage, whatever it was. It has 3-4 years in it, right? Nah, that shit blew up in 3 months, right? Ran on a job, or if I had a problem with the gun, it was a crisis. I have backups on everything now. Yep. But I was doing everything by myself at the time. This is when I was 6 months in, something like that. I had, like, in 1 week, 11 warranty calls on stuff that was, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Some cases 10.
You see, here's the difference, though. And I'm tell you what the big difference is. That was out of your control. So you don't know. Even if that guy might have had great reviews or whatever, you don't know if he was cutting corners. You don't know if he was using the best stuff. You don't know if he was using it right, if he was up to your standard. When I decided to go that route, I had already recognized how long this shit really lasts. There's a hotel called Leaky Tiki. It's written right there. But we've done the tubs there like 7 times. They're finally renovating. But it was like every 4 years they would do the regular tubs again. And it was just because they outsourced the cleaning and they would fuck them up. But there was rooms where we did these big jacuzzis. There's rooms in there where jacuzzis were painted 7-8 years ago and they look brand new.
Really?
Yeah, brand new. They look brand new. Like it looks like, and they get used, but the shit does not come off.
And at the end of the day, even in our warranty information, there's a disclaimer that we are going to make the ultimate judgment.
Exactly.
On whether or not you physically damaged it or it's a fault of the craftsmanship.
Exactly. And I'm not in the business of turning away warranties, but within reason, right? Like if you see, if you see the fucking tile around the tub is all fucking crumbled on the floor, and you see a fucking jackhammer right next to the tub, and they're like, it's peeling. It's like, bro, no. I wouldn't even fix that as a courtesy.
Yeah.
But within reason. But my whole way of thinking about it is, your product, what you can deliver. It's not a solution for everyone, but I will say in Florida, the clientele is different. You have, first of all, a shit ton of vacation rentals, a shit ton. People move here, like they got a really good job promotion on the younger end, or they're retiring here.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get out in the villages. I just see plate after plate. It says New York on it, Massachusetts.
And a lot of the time, believe it or not, this isn't even their primary residence. We get customers all the time that are like, yeah, I have a vacation house over there in the villages.
Snowbirds.
They come for 6 months and they leave. So, you give a lifetime warranty.
That's what my parents do exactly.
They're not using it every day. Half the year, it's not even being touched.
Just sits there.
So, again, it's just context matters in that situation. So for us, it just makes sense. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility to absorb. Obviously, you're committing to a customer for a lifetime. But after we thought about it, and we're just seeing from our experience, we're not getting a lot of failures. And to be fair, it's not always going to be a complete refinish too, right?
Yeah.
So like if you have a chip, how much time does it really take us to go transition that chip?
A little bit of icing.
And just clean it the fuck up.
Make the customer happy.
And, that's another reason why it's so important you guys get out of the field, bro. It doesn't hurt as much when you're not the fucker who has to go do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You're at a different level. I think we were talking about, being a little bit slow in January. Mm-hmm. I'm not advertising right now. It's all search engine optimization is all I'm doing. So I can control that and be on all cylinders.
But also,
this time next year.
As long as you're staying busy, you don't have to do it. We went from the approach of like, we're trying to conquer the market together. And in order to stand out, you need to stand the fuck out. And that lifetime warranty, the first thing it does is they're like, whoa, a lifetime warranty? Because I got this guy, he's charging $100 less for a 5-year. So for $100 more, I get lifetime. I mean, it's like no brainer. And then they're going to pick us. We're going to do it. And then if we do have a chip, like that's part of the systems and processes we put into place.
We're selling we're selling a premium product. That's the thing. We want people to not think about the price so much, think about the value. Mm-hmm. That's an easy way to do it because, the tub might be $500. The tub and strip might be $650. The tub and towel might be $1,000. Like a lot of the times people start there and they end up over here. And now they're spending real money. And the customer still might not use it for super long, whatever. But even if they did, like he said, it is a responsibility. You got to go in thinking like, okay, things might happen. But they could be touched up, whatever. But the biggest thing is we're selling premium. What says premium more than like, we're going to cover if some shit happens? Because realistically, we know this is refinishers. Most failures happen within the first month, bro. Like, and that is the biggest thing. Most people, even though they might bullshit if the job was done a week ago because they just spent the money, it still hurts, right? But in 7 years, if somebody calls you and says it's scratched, like you might have a lifetime warranty, but that's not covered under it anyway. So it's like, well, yeah, it'd be $150 for me to come out. It's not going to hurt as much in 7 years, man. So you might do a courtesy repair next week, but if you have a 2-year warranty, you're doing it anyway. Versus 7 years from now, like, hey, well, that's normal wear and tear. Like, it's going to cost like $150 for me to come out. That's just what I pay my guy, whatever. You get it done. Or if they start bitching about it, look, leave me a good review and I'll go and take care of it. Now you're incentivizing something for you that's going to help the next person be like, I might hire them. That's a good way to think about it.
I always do that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go fix your shit, you have to give me a review.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it's like no brainer. It's like, or what?
I've done that too.
Yeah, like or what?
And they're like,
do you want it fixed? Like, because no one else is gonna do it for free.
Yep.
So it's like, it's a give and take type of thing.
I will say this to him. I said normally it's a $75 service fee. I can waive that for you if you leave a review.
Yep.
Yeah, that's perfect because a review holds so much weight.
Well, and it also tells them that you're not really in it for the money. You're in it for the fucking status. Like,
For brand trust.
For brand trust, because like they're not going to be the only one that calls in all this time, right? So you're making it known, like, bro, it's not even just about the money. It's like, I want my business to look good. So write me a review. I'll come back and fix it, and I'll make good on for you. And that makes them feel better too. It's not money. They're like, oh, all they want me is to talk good about them. Well, they are coming back to fix it for free. So there's actual real happiness behind that fucking text.
95% of people have common sense.
Yep.
There's always that 5% that's just outrageous, and you're like, I mean, that's another cost of doing business. Like, it's not always going to be fucking perfect. You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have points where in business you feel like, you know, you just didn't take that. Sometimes you take an L, man. Sometimes it's just how it goes. It's cost of doing business.
But let's be honest, and this is a conversation I've had with him. You offer a 2-year warranty, and 2 years and 1 month passes by, and you tell a customer, hey, you're gonna have to pay me to do it again because it's past the warranty term. You think they're just gonna sit down and accept that? Or you think, well, it shouldn't be coming off. Well, if you guys would have done a good job, well, all these other companies have a longer warranty. Like,
either way, you look like shit.
Or they threaten to write you a review. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go do it.
Exactly. That's what we realized.
Because that means more to you than a fucking bad review.
Yeah, we realized that early. I realized that, like, I'm always going to go do it because I don't want the fucking 1-star review. And so if I'm going to do it, we might as well charge.
And at the end of the day, even though it might hurt a little bit, maybe a lot sometimes, like that week that you had where everyone's just hitting you up, you get those reviews, and that's just, bro, that's like you patting down seeds for the future. Because when you become more expensive, when you need the more overhead, when you have more guys, those are going to help you get real fucking money work. And eventually the warranty's not going to matter, bro. Like, if you have 7 guys busy for 7 months, you could always just go back to 5, bro. Like, once you hit a certain level of branding, it's just like, it's like, am I going to go with Mercedes or BMW, bro? It's up to the client.
We were talking about it as like, there's a certain point where your overhead is kind of maxed out, right?
Yep.
You don't need more shop for more techs. You just need a place where you can store your material, a couple turbines, and a parking lot.
Yep.
Right. So like once you hit that, once you get into that investment, now you're just adding techs and techs and techs and techs and techs. So your numbers are growing, but your overhead, besides labor,
and your social proof builds with this too. So I'm saying like handling warranties in general. It doesn't have to be the lifetime, but you're building social proof when you get these people, even though it's a thing, you have to go back. You have another chance to talk to the customer. Maybe they use that as an opportunity to be like, man, I'm so glad you guys came out for free. Like, can you take a look at my shower? I might want to get it done. Use that as an opportunity. You could use it as an opportunity for yourself to upsell. On top of that, they're writing you a review. That social proof is invaluable. You're going back, the first time they might not have written it. Now they're going to write you a review, and you pile up so many reviews that, like, you're going to get the ideal customer more often. They're going to be like, well, this person has 200 5-star reviews. This person has 10. Who am I going to go with? The one that has more. Like, that's what I do.
I've also noticed as we've grown over on my side, the distribution of responsibility makes it easier to handle this.
Yep.
So like when I was doing all the work, man, it felt so shitty for some customer to be bitching. And you're like, I busted my fucking ass for your job.
You get emotional.
In it.
If I'm not doing all the work.
Exactly.
I'm still busy full time. It's still a full time job, even with a tech. But when I was doing the work and
it hurt more,
hot and sweaty, and somebody's complaining about something.
Well, that's part of the reason why.
And it also allows your techs not to have that pressure. So like one of my lead guys, Angel, like I don't put that on him. I'm not gonna have you weigh the entire customer's unhappiness, and that's the distribution of responsibility.
I try to take the stress away from
let
the
me
person
take that.
The labor.
Let me take that conversation. I'll take the
she doesn't need to have that stress when she's out spraying a tub.
Just go handle it.
The extra stress will almost make you screw up more instead of motivate you.
Or I noticed I started to have resentment towards customers when I was in the field, and it's like, you're supposed to actually love these people. These people are literally paying. They chose you. You know what I mean? And so that's what, for me, it's an experience I've gone through, and I'm going through right now as I'm getting further and further out of ops. I'm starting to realize I have a bigger threshold for dealing with issues now.
Oh, and I can sell much better if I'm not doing the work.
Yeah.
Yep.
I should be thankful out of, there's 5 guys around the city all doing the same thing. I should be grateful. They're calling Indiana Resurfacing.
Exactly, yeah.
And it got to the point where, when you're hot and sweaty and
Yeah.
you've been going up the stairs, I was almost resentful. So I noticed as I step back and I'm not doing labor all the time, my sales ratio on the phone is just going.
It also,
I book it right there on the phone.
yeah, it also allows you to get more confidence, even if you're not thinking about it. When you hear complaints and then you got to go sell, subconsciously your mind is playing fucking games with you.
Yeah,
and it comes out.
You'll start questioning your service. Like there was my first year, the way my story came about. I don't know if you've heard it in a couple podcasts, but I was in the military for a while, and when I got out, I picked up the trade, and within like 2 weeks, I went training for like a week with some family members, learned a bunch of crazy shit, and like they taught me how to do it, but they taught me the fly-by-nighter type of way, right? And
how they learned to do it 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Right?
They were self-taught, and they taught me. So all I was learning was self-taught tactics. And I got frustrated with, I started to not believe in this industry. I was like, bro, this is bullshit. I was like, I'm offering warranties on shit I know is going to fucking chip, shit I know is going to peel. And I'm like, how are people doing this? And then that's when I met Danny, and we started to get into like, how are we going to build these systems and in a way where like we're eliminating all variables of issues. And now we understand there's gonna be things. It's the cost of doing business. But we also know like that I've proven to myself, it's something that I feel like most owner operators have, is the biggest challenge, is that you can do this and you can have a longevity and you can offer warranties and you can maintain crews. But on our end, we have to provide, and what we have to provide is jobs.
But what's crazy is that this whole conversation circles back to what we were talking about originally, which is that when you do everything, something suffers. So you're hearing complaints all day, and then someone else calls you. You're like upset, and then you got to turn on the sale.
It comes through in
and
your
it comes
voice.
through, which is part of the reason why I just last week when I was on vacation, I came back. I told my brother, I want you to answer the phones. Like, I think it'd be helpful because I'm really like, dealing with customers, and then on top of doing all the other ops stuff, all the other stuff that I want to do to build the brand, it is a lot of fucking work, and it gets to be a lot. It's stressful as fuck. And when a customer when it's your baby, right? Like this is something that we've each grown up from, like a thing to where it's like this thing that we're doing. So now it's a thing that's paying our bills and paying for our lifestyle and all these things. And when someone's lying to you, like the lady with the scratches, right? It hurts so fucking much. And it's so annoying that you don't have, it's like they took the power is taken away from you in this situation.
Like, it goes through my mind. I view that, she's obviously lying to me.
Yeah.
Obviously. And it's like, she's taking away from me, my wife, my 3 children.
Yep.
Like,
it hurts.
And I've been busting my ass to try to grow this business.
When you see, and like, the reason that I'm like cool with him answering the phone now is like, the last thing I need to hear in a day is now that. Like a complaint. So hard. It's way harder to turn on the sale after you had a complaint. After you have the shitty day I had where before I got here today, I got into a fucking car accident. Like, it's so hard to disconnect that stuff, especially when you grew the thing from when it was like nothing. And now it's something, and you know how good you are, your guys are, and you know that they would never just not, like, do a shitty job on purpose. It's like, it's almost like it's questioning your intelligence. And you're just like, you can't just tell them to fuck off, even though you really want to.
Yeah, because, like the consumer, they have, what is their one point of leverage? It's the review.
It really is. That's it.
And you're trying to protect your reputation. So my biggest thing is emotion regulation. Like, I've had to learn to control my emotions.
I've learned that I can't control my emotions that much, so I have to delegate it. Now that, like, I think I got to the level, bro. He's heard me talk to clients.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, and everyone, like my partner, he's like that as well. My father, he doesn't regulate his emotions as well as I do. If you piss him off, he's gonna get upset. And so that's why I'm not gonna have him do the conflict resolution side.
Yeah,
of
do the
things.
sales side.
You play your strengths. I have a little bit more patience when it comes to that, but at the same time, it did help when I stopped busting my fucking ass in the field, because that was a lot, bro. Answering that phone and
Your head would get hot.
Yeah, you get fucking pissed. Like,
and then you're thinking about it so much, and then you're like, I can't fuck this one up.
Yeah.
And then you're overthinking it, and then you fuck it up again, and
Yeah.
now it's like a thing, bro. It's like you start, like you said, questioning your ability, questioning, is this business even worth it? It's all things that go away when you have people, because you just tell them like, a tech here is like, all you got to do is a tub and then a touch up, and they're chilling.
We know every refinisher's feeling this shit.
We
bro.
know.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Which is why you got to get out of it.
It's the only way, because it really is. You have two options. You stay doing that shit yourself forever, and you literally manage every single project from start to finish, and that's the only way to maintain absolute control of quality. Or you absorb some risk, send some people out, increase your margins, so that way you can compensate for the failures and keep it moving. And if you're in this fucking game thinking that there's this like end result, you're fucked, because this is like a never ending, like you're hustling, and maybe one day you could sell out at that 3x mark, right? Yes. Maybe, and the level of endurance you need to have if you're gonna make it is to me is astronomical.
And I think as all people who have owned businesses here in this table, we could agree that like common sense doesn't exist.
With the customers?
No, yeah,
or
with the
employers? Or
Both.
with
Both, yeah.
So
Yeah, Florida Man. I called him before I came down here, and Florida Man is the guy that was applying for a job, and he said he wanted $50 an hour because I'm worth what I'm worth.
not even plumbers get paid that much, bro. Certified plumbers.
Now, I don't know. Maybe we could work something out, but that seemed like unrealistic expectations.
$50
Bro,
an hour.
you know what I would tell him? I'd be like, I'll start you at 25, and that's it. That's all I would do. That's all I would fucking do.
But it doesn't make sense at 50.
3 month probationary period. You're getting paid 15. You'll get paid at 25. And if you do like, here's the thing.
What if it takes 6 hours on a tub?
That's just not worth it though. At 50, I'm saying it's not worth it.
That's what I'm saying.
I would offer him 25, but he has to do a 3 month probation.
I like Danny's model from Alliance.
How he
does it. That shit just makes it puts so much accountability
on the tech. Yeah. Bro,
and
no
it
one's paying.
incentivizes them to make more money too, because they have an option to.
Nobody ever has paid a refinish for $50 an hour. I'm saying like I would say you're gonna get paid 25. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like pay him 50 later. I'm saying like
I don't even pay myself that much.
Yeah,
right?
no, fuck
because
that.
I got to keep money in the coffers, and
Exactly, yeah.
some of the bigger companies that I work for.
Or you tell them, hey, I'll pay you $50 an hour. You supply everything, including a vehicle.
That tells me right there that Florida Man does not even understand the cost of lead acquisition, overhead, risk.
I think
management.
we should get into that on the next one. This one's 47 minutes, but bro, there's a lot of shit to talk about with that.
Do it.
Let's go ahead and end this one, and we'll start up another one. See you later, guys.
You've been listening to the Bathtub Refinishing Podcast. If you liked what you heard, be sure to keep up with the Bathtub Guys on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, or visit BathTubGuys.com for more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
$50 an hour. Yeah, so a tub would cost you $100.